Hello, YouTube world. Thanks for checking in the Khaliis take. Um, Today's take, we'll just be talking about the reaction between the Los Angeles Lakers and the Washington Wizards. Um, mm, you go into overtime with the Washington Wizards. Okay. 115, going to overtime with the Washington Wizards. Okay. You end up losing to the Washington Wizards 127 to 124. Now I do realize they don't have AD. I do realize they don't. I don't think they had the likes of Schroeder either. But still, you cannot lose to a team like the Wizards. Under no circumstances can you lose to a team like the Wizards, because regardless of whether you have Dennis Schroeder or regardless of whether you have AD, you clearly still have the better team. You clearly still have the team that can beat the Washington Wizards. Now, I know Bradley Beal had 32 and Westbrook had 33 or 33. It was back and forth. I understand both of them had 30 plus points, but I think Westbrook had like 14 rebounds too. But almost had a triple double, I think. But LeBron almost had a triple double. He had 31, I think, like 12 and 9 or something like that. I mean, still, you cannot lose to a team like the Wizards, especially after the Clippers lost last night. You have to take advantage of the fact that the Clippers lost, because remember, you have to stay ahead of them so you could be second place in the race. When Utah slips up, you can get that first place. But you lose to a team like the Wizards, a team that you're clearly not supposed to lose to on your home floor. And a team that's just really, I mean, they're playing a little bit better here lately, but let's just be honest, they're still not a good team. And they're still not a team that the Lakers should lose to, because the Lakers clearly have a better team. You got LeBron James on the floor. LeBron James is better than Westbrook and Bradley Beal. Put together, he's better than both of them, in my opinion. And then you got a bunch of other guys on that team. So I guess it's like, when I look at the Lakers, I mean, the problems are vivid. I've said these problems before about the Lakers. You have players like Marc Gasol, who's really not contributing. Marc Gasol had 7 points in this game. I mean, seven points as your big man is not going to cut it. Now, if he had 10, if he had 15, different. Then you have players like Wesley Matthews, who's just been a shell of himself for years. And no disrespect to him, I'm glad he's still new in the league, but I don't even know how he's still in the league. He's definitely not the player he used to be on Portland years ago. And ever since he popped his Achilles, he's never been the same. Do you realize Wesley Matthews played over 20 plus minutes with no points? Let that sink in for a second. Wesley Matthews played 20 something minutes in a game with no points. To be exact, I actually think he played 27 minutes. You cannot have any player on the floor play over 20 plus minutes, 27 minutes to be exact, with no points. The Lakers have real issues. And even if they had Anthony Davis, even if they had Dennis Schroeder, they make up for a lot of the issues that they have. But you know something? It's games like this that show everybody that Dennis Schroeder and Anthony Davis makes up for your issues when you play teams like this. But when you play teams like the Clippers, when you play teams like, the Nets, teams like Philly, when you play teams like that, they're not going to make up for the lack of production from the players that you have on your roster. Marc Gasol plays over 20 minutes with less than 10 points. Wesley Matthews plays 27 minutes, over 20 plus minutes with no points. That can't happen, especially against the Wizards. If Wesley Matthews is not going to score in a game, I would think it would be a team a lot better than the Wizards that can defensively put the clamps on him where he can't be effective. At least drop 8 points. Against the Wizards, there's nobody guarding you that's remotely a great defender. And like I said, these things will come back to hurt the Lakers in the future if they don't address them. You cannot lose to a team like the Wizards even though you don't have Anthony Davis or Dennis Schroeder. You still got the Caruso, as they call the kid. You know, you still got KCP, which I think he scored over 20-something points. You still got Kyle Kuzma, which I think he scored 14 points. You know, you still got pieces. And I think Montrezl Harrell actually scored like 26 points. Okay, you got several people in double figures. You got at least three players over 20 points in this game. But you lose to the Wizards at home. I don't get it. And this is why I keep telling people, I like the Lakers, but I also said I like the Lakers to make it. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the Lakers made to the finals. But I said earlier in one of my videos, the finals is going to come down to the Nets and whoever, basically. So I said I like the Lakers to go to the finals. Excuse me. But I said earlier in one of my videos, I think the Clippers would be more of the interesting matchup versus the Nets in the finals. And this is the reason why I said that. Because when you look at the Clippers' other guys, they don't look like that. I'd be damned if anybody on the Clippers play 26 minutes and don't even score in a game like this, where clearly you have the better team in all phases. I don't even think Patrick Beverley would go 26 minutes in a game without scoring. I don't think Reggie Jackson would. I don't even know if the guy they have off the bench, Terrence Mann, I don't even know if he would. And this is what I'm saying. You can't have players like that on the floor who's that non-productive, especially going against teams that you guys are supposed to beat. I mean, and that's why I said, eventually, AD, Dennis Schroeder, players like that, they're not going to be able to make up for the insufficiencies of other players. They're not going to do it. I mean, you just had 40 minutes of production, 40 plus minutes of production between two players that have been all-stars in this league before at some point in their career in the past or something like that, who scored 7 points combined. That's not going to cut it. If you want to win a championship, you cannot have players on the floor that long with no production. LeBron is out there doing everything he can. Like I said, LeBron almost had a triple-double. But it doesn't matter what LeBron does. And teams know that. As long as Anthony Davis is not around, it doesn't matter what LeBron does. Let's just stop all the other guys. And that's what these teams are doing. They're neutralizing all the other guys and letting LeBron get his numbers and look like a king, when really games like this, he looks like a prince. Because he's putting up good numbers, but it's not the numbers they need to get over the hump. I mean, first of all, they shouldn't even be going overtime with a team like the Wizards. You should just beat them in regulation. If the Lakers don't do something here soon and, switch their lineup or, make some adjustments just as far as a team, hey, maybe even a trade, I don't know. But losing games like this really, really say a lot about who the Lakers are. And like I said, I know LeBron is out there by himself holding it down. And don't get me wrong, I mean, this is not the end of the road for the Lakers, but it's losses like these and the little things that we see in games like these that really should make us wonder who the Lakers really are. And can they really beat a team like the Nets? Can they? If Wesley Matthews don't score in 26 points and in 26 minutes in the game with the Nets, they're getting blown out if the Nets are healthy. Your big man, Marc Gasol, if he only has 7 points in 20 plus minutes, you're getting blown out by the Brooklyn Nets. You're probably getting blown out by the Clippers. Because like I said, when I look at the Clippers, they don't have any players on there that roster that I can see that doesn't contribute to what they do. And I'm just shocked that this game turned out this way. Like I said, there's nothing we can do about it now, but wow. Wow. I mean, I watch shows like Oprah Siderson. I watch his show. He's one of the ones I follow on you here on YouTube, and actually watch his channel, and I see he's just a diehard Lakers fan. He should be, but even somebody like him can't defend this one because you're supposed to beat the teams you're supposed to beat. And this is one of those teams the Lakers are supposed to beat. Even without Schroeder, even without AD, it doesn't matter. You still have a better team overall. And if you can't win games like this, when you're fighting for that first seed in the West, after the Clippers lost last night on a controversial call, you have to come take this one home. You have to get at least that 1.5 game lead over them to keep your spot. So just in case Utah slips up, you can take their spot. But I understand LeBron is getting tired. I understand that, their team is not all the way together, but still, it doesn't matter. You still have to win games like these. And these games like this, they come back and hurt you in the future. Because you're going to sit back and say, man, we would have won those games or a game like that. We probably would win in first place. Or, it just shows the weakness to other teams of what they see. And now other teams see it. They see their weakness. Because you got some players on the floor that's not even being productive. So when those players come on the floor now, other teams are just going to play the Lakers and say, let's just ramp it up because this is our time to actually score while those players are in, because those are the less productive players. And like I said, it doesn't matter what LeBron does after a while. After a while, it just comes down to X's and O's. You have to execute these plays and everybody has to be on one accord. And it's obvious the Lakers were not on one accord. Like I said, I don't know what's going on with, right now. I understand, like I said, AD's not there, but AD does not make up for the fact that you losing to the Washington Wizards. I know the Wizards got Westbrook. I know they got Bradley Beal, but at the same time, they're just not this team that is going to wow you with defense and, play you to a high level and, whatever. They're just not that team. And the Lakers should have definitely won this game. Like I said, I think the Lakers need to make a trade. And losing games like this really doesn't make the Lakers' case for being the best team in the NBA. Losing games like this is really going to make people start to look at and question, well, I wonder, can the Lakers even be in the same room with the Brooklyn Nets? You're losing to a Wizards team that has two good players and nobody else on there, and there's a trash team. There's a trash team. I mean, nobody respects that team. And like I said, I'm glad they got Westbrook on there. I'm glad they got Bradley Beal still, but at the same time, they're just not a good team. Are they making strides? Yes, they're making strides. They're playing a lot better because they got two superstars, or at least a superstar and a all-star plus. So, I mean, you still got to beat this team. And like I said before, the Lakers want to be a championship team. You have to beat the teams you're supposed to beat. And this was one of them. You're supposed to beat the Wizards. So, I mean, hey, I don't know, man. Maybe things have changed for the Lakers nation. It's just not looking so good. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to panic over one game or anything like that, but, you had a tough game against Minnesota. You lost to the Nets. You come in here tonight. You probably definitely should have won this game. People really picked you to win this game. And I think you lost to Miami also earlier this week or last week. It's just you're losing the teams that you should beat clearly. And It's kind of disturbing, honestly, but at the same time, I mean, LeBron just got to do more. And I hate to say that because LeBron is by himself, no AD. I get that. But like I said, you got to do more, bro. Because it's obvious you got to do more. That your team can't even beat the Wizards. You are getting 0 points out of one of your starters in this game in Wesley Matthews and played over 20-something minutes. And you got 7 points out of your big man in 20-something minutes in this game. That means LeBron just has to do more. And I hate to say that because, like I said, LeBron's already pretty much by himself. But if he can't rally his troops and his team to get up to beat a team like the Wizards after the Clippers lost last night, and you want to keep that edge over them, it's sad. It's sad. But you know what, though? Like I said, they still got time. Still got time to make a trade, and then plus I gotta get AD back too. So we'll see how this team goes. You see how this team looks going forward. But man, those weaknesses they have really starting to show a little bit more. And see, weaknesses like this, if you keep them, they only linger in the playoffs. They don't get better. Hey, I don't know what else to say. Leave any comments on what you think about the situation or what your take is on it. I gave you my take. But, hey, till next time.